What's up, Kingdom? It's your Lord and Savior King D353 here with a bit of a different video today. You see, a few days ago actually, I was bored scrolling through Twitter, and as you guys know, with it being the month of June, everyone and their mother is fighting over shit like pride and men's mental health, and just being complete assholes to each other, throwing fits over, I'm not going to say nothing in particular, because these things do matter, but like, people are hating on each other too much. And as I was looking through posts about people fighting each other, I found this post right here. This is clearly meant to be a jokey post about what each character from Honkai Starrail would call June. And it's funny. I like that they made one for Aquila's month. The marriage joke is funny. But this was clearly made by someone on the right because none of them referred to Pride Month. Which, honestly, I don't care. It's a joke. People can joke about whatever they want. Hell, even though I'm a centrist, I drag on the left way more than I do on the right. That's mainly because I think the left should know better, but that's besides the point. The point is, when I saw this, I went, I wonder what this would look like if someone did this not biasly. Now, of course, there's two problems with that. Well, there's one main problem with that, being this is comedic, so I can't do it non-biasedly comedically, because that ruins the joke. So, my list here isn't going to be comedic. Sorry. Pressing things is hard. I want to see if I can actually go over these characters as characters, think hard about who they are, what matters to them, what makes them tick, and actually think, where would they fall in this discourse? Why am I doing this? I don't know, thought it would be fun. Sometimes thought experiments are just fun. So yeah, we're going to do a little thought experiment here and try to figure out, based on their characterizations, where would the Honkai Starrail characters fall under this stupid-ass fight that shouldn't exist but does anyway, because humans are an oddly divisive species. Oh, also, I know this is a strong topic to a lot of people, so, one rule in the comments section, don't be a dick. I don't care if y'all disagree with each other, but don't go biting each other's heads off. I mean, I probably don't even have to worry about this. I don't have enough big enough a fan base for you guys to bite each other's heads off, but don't. If you have to lash out at someone, lash out at me, but don't lash out at each other. Kill? Cool. Alright, let's have fun with this little thought experiment and see where each character would fall on this, I guess, politics chart, but not really, because there's more to politics than what June month you see these things on. Now, the original thing was just going off what they would call the month themselves, which is why things like Aquila's month existed. I'm gonna do it differently, not just because it's isn't comedic, but also because it's kind of boring locking some people behind things like Aquila's month. It gives us less to talk about. So I'm going to work under the assumption that if they don't already know what these months are, you explain it to them. So someone who wouldn't originally know what the months are, like the Amphorius people, for example, can have them explain to them and make a decision. The tiers we have are, they see it as both months, they call it Pride Month, they call it Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. What are you talking about? Confused, as in they do not understand what the fuck is coming out of your mouth. And what are you talking about? Annoyed, as in they do not give a fuck about this. Why are you bothering them this information? We'll just do it in the order of that the thing gave them to me. I did also add some characters at the bottom here. Also, for those wondering why Morton X Blade is here, but Silverwolf 999 isn't, I put Mortonak's Blade here because he had enough character development that I think would change his mind. I do not think that's the case for Silverwolf or Himiko, which is why their SPs aren't down there. Alright, so first off we have March 7th, the basically just the basic girl. A very regular girl, very social media friendly, very happy-go-lucky. Normally, a character like March I would put in Pride Month. However, March does have men in her life that she cares for deeply, and March is a fairly caring person. Now, technically speaking, being caring doesn't necessarily mean you'll love both of these sides. People can lean towards one or the other for many reasons, be it because they think men already control the world, or because they think the alphabet mafia is annoying, or because they genuinely don't believe men's problems exist, or because they think the alphabet mafia has gone high enough that it doesn't hurt them anymore. Being caring choosing one of these sides doesn't necessarily mean you're not caring, but I do think March is caring enough and has enough positive men in her life that she would fall under the both category, so we're going to put March 7th under both. Dawn Hung. Now, is Inhibitor Lunale and Permanence Terrere on here? That's Inhibitor, yes, that's Inhibitor Lunale. That's Permanence Terrere. So yeah, this should be start of the game Dawn Hung, because, like I said, I'm doing different versions for the sake of character growth. And start of the game Dawn Hung probably wouldn't think it matters. He's a fairly emotionally standing off character at first, so we're gonna put him in what are you talking about confused, because like, what is this? Why does it matter? Why do you need to be celebrated? Just take care of yourself. What was it again? I think it was, it was travel something connect. What was the second word? Travel something connect. One sec. I had a thing I wanted to say for Himiko, but I forgot what the Trailblazer's oath was. Will they even know what I meant when I say that? No, of course they don't. Yeah, they have no clue what I mean when I search Trailblazer's oath. Look, the point is the Trailblazers have a free word oath that essentially means they want to explore the cosmos, meet new civilizations, learn about what the civilizations stand for, and connect those civilizations. Now, a lot of you are going to hear that and say, oh, so she's Pride Month then, because Pride is all about everybody coming together. No. Pride is about the people that see themselves as minorities and disadvantaged coming together. Pride does not include straight people. Pride does not include men. Pride is a very exclusionary and very much focused on people that feel they are disadvantaged in life, whether they are or not. Whether they are or not really depends on your own views on the matter. Point is, Pride isn't about everybody's, it's about certain buddies. Now, that does not mean that Himiko would be anti-Pride. It means that Himiko, like March, falls under both. Because she wants to understand and be there for everybody. Not just the disadvantaged, not just those with a dick, everybody. Walt Yang. Walt Yang also falls under the same Trailblazer's oath. And for those of you thinking, wait, but doesn't Dawn Hung fall under the Trailblazer's oath too? Yes, he does, but I still think at the beginning he isn't emotionally there enough to think that these matter, which is why he's down there. These two are self-actualized adults that have been through life, know that everything matters, know how to take care of people, know how important mental health is. That's why I'm putting them up here under the Trailblazers Oath. Kafka is a harder one because Kafka is a very hard character to read, and that's on purposely so. She essentially lives off of lies, deceit, and playing mind games. I can tell you this for sure, I don't think she cares about men's mental health. I think she cares about Blade's mental health, but I don't think she cares about men's mental health in general. I don't think she cares about anyone's mental health. Friendly reminder that Kafka's form of fighting is mind control. She is literally the opposite of people's mental health. She scars everybody she fights. So, I don't think I could, in good conscience, put her under Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. But would she care about pride? I think that depends on what gender your Trailblazer is, actually. Because as far as Kafka's aware, nothing fucking matters. She's Nihility for a reason. Shit doesn't matter. The only way I could see her caring about Pride Month is if you specifically have Stell as your Trailblazer. Why would it matter if Stell is your Trailblazer? Well, the Trailblazer has no canon male ships as far as I'm aware. All of the Trailblazer ships are women. So, in theory, Kalis is straight, and Stell is lesbian as fuck. So, if the Trailblazer is Stell, maybe we could put her into the Pride Month category, because she cares about Stell and Firefly. More so Stell. I'm pretty sure... I don't think Kafka's that close to Firefly, but that's probably just because I don't know enough about the Stellar 100's lore. If it's Kalis, however, she won't give a fuck. Nothing matters. We all exist and then we die, and she's not afraid of it. Because she's not afraid of anything. I'm gonna put her down here, because I don't think she has any personal investment in it, unless you specifically have Stell as your Trailblazer. Silverwolf. Silverwolf is the most nihilistic person ever because she can change reality. She is literally the definition of none of this fucking matters. So, yeah. Arlen. Arlen is the security member of the space station and is a very protective person at his own risk. He's fine injuring himself and putting himself in harm's way to protect others. Quite frankly, he's the kind of person that Men's Mental Health Awareness Month is made for. But because of how self-destructive he is, I don't think he would care about this. I do think he would care about pride, though, due to the fact that he is so self-destructive and people first. So, I'll put Arlen under pride. Although I could also see him falling under... what? Confused, but I'm gonna put him under pride. Asta, the financial representative of the Herta space station, and one of, if not the richest person in lore. Asta cares about everyone deeply. One might think that means she would also fall under pride, but we know for a fact she cares about men's mental health because of an interaction with Arlen. In one of the character quests, Arlen, she believes that she has overworked Arlen and that Arlen is complaining about her behind her back. Most bosses would tear you a new asshole for this, but she does something I have never seen a boss do in my life. She felt remorse, sadness, and all-around regret for the possibility of hurting Arlen. That tells me that she does in fact care about the mental health of those around her, male or female. As a result of this, I think she would also fall under both. Herta does not give a fuck. Saber is a king, and a king that cares about her people. All that matters to her is being the best king for England that she can be, and being the best servant for her master that she can be. She is very much a people and duty-oriented person. So she would definitely care about men's mental health. Now, the question about whether she cares about Pride Month would technically fall to how the British saw Pride in the Arthurian times. At least that's what I'd say. If there isn't a route where she can fuck Rin Tosaka. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not had the honor to play Fate yet. So, I actually do not know if her fucking Rin is solely because Shiro wanted it, or if it's because she wanted it. She could be straight up bisexual. She could also have been straight and doing it because her man wanted it, and sometimes people do that. Sometimes people do shit they're uncomfortable with for the sake of their partner. So it really falls under how that came to be in the story. If she did it solely because Shiro wanted it and the British Empire was anti-gays at the time, then she would fall under Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. But I don't know. I lean more towards she's just bi. And let's be real. Even if Britain was anti-gay at the time, since she did also gain all the knowledge of current day upon being summoned to the current Holy Grail War, it's entirely possible that this new knowledge of how the modern day folk see the world allowed her to accept Pride more than she already did. So, this could be wrong. It's very much possible it is. I have not read enough of Fate. My Fate knowledge comes from watching Unlimited Blade Works. But I'm going to put Saber into the both tier. Next we have Archer. It's very hard to do this about Archer, because Archer himself is a fairly standoffish character, and going off him alone, I would put him in one of these two tiers. But for the sake of getting a more complete view of Archer doable, I'm gonna do a minor spoiler. So, if you haven't read through Unlimited Blade Works or watched the anime of Unlimited Blade Works, I assume Unlimited Blade Works also has a visual novel version, please just skip ahead a bit. Anyone who doesn't need spoilers gone? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Archer is Shiro Emiya, who is the main character of Fate Stay Night. I don't remember this song. What area is this from? Sorry, don't get distracted. Archer is Shiro Emiya, and Shiro Emiya's whole thing is wanting to be a hero. Now, the hero thing doesn't matter because Emiya, Archer's name is just Emiya, by the way. He dropped the Shiro. It's Emiya in all caps. It's Emiya! Emiya has forgone the hero thing, but even if he's more jaded than he was originally, he's still Shiro. And Shiro cares about people. Shiro cares deeply about people. So because Shiro cares deeply about people, he also falls under the March and Asta area of things. Now, normally this would be where I go, but he's self-destructive, so he can't care about men's mental health awareness. Thus, he goes into Pride. But, no, Emiya's jaded because he realized his self-destructive tendencies made him unhealthy and ruined his life. So actually, Emiya would care about Men's Mental Health Awareness Month because his mental health awareness went to the shitter and he hates his past self for it. So Emiya goes into both. Or he says, shut up and love yourself, you don't need others to do it. But I'm going to put him in both because I say so. Next up, we have Brunya, the leader of Urilo 6. Brunya started off as a sheltered girl that felt like the government was always right and could do no wrong, which would technically lend her towards Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Actually, no, it wouldn't. I was about to say because the government is more, I was about to say because the government is more right-leaning, but honestly, for the longest time, the government's been more left-leaning. Yeah, Trump changed that, obviously, because Trump is right-leaning. But we have been seeing Pride becoming far more public-facing and far more accepted recently, to the point that most companies fall under Pride. So, actually, earlier her would have fallen under Pride Month. But as she gets more character development and learns a bit more about how the world works, she begins to go against the defaults of the government and starts listening to the people. Which actually puts her even more firmly into Pride Month, because Men's Mental Health Awareness Month isn't talked about much. Men's Mental Health Awareness Month is brought up more as a counterpoint to Pride Month, and has only recently been picking up as something that people give a fuck about. And half of those people care about it to fuck with Pride Month people. And the other half probably only recently learned it existed. So yeah, actually, I thought I was going to say, after character development, she falls under both, but no, actually, I think she falls more under Pride Month. I don't think it's impossible for her to end up in both. I very much do think it is possible for her to care about the mental health awareness of men. You know what? Yeah, actually, I am going to put her, because I said earlier that you explain both of these to the person, and then they make a decision. So she definitely would have started off in Pride Month alone, but after someone explains to her the shit men go through and how much they need a month as well, she'd probably end up developing to both. Sela, on the other hand, well, wait, I think I picked up the wrong person. I picked up Serval. Serval is a counterculture rock star, which means she, by default, would fall more so under Pride. I know that's weird to say because Pride isn't counterculture anymore, but it has been for long enough that even though it isn't anymore, it's too ingrained in counterculture to be taken out of it. Now, there is a man in her life she cares about in this case of her brother Gepard, but I don't know if having one man you care about is enough to care about Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Because I refuse to believe that every single feminist and Alphabet Mafia member that says fuck Mental Health Awareness Month doesn't have a single man in their life to care about. I'm sure some of them had bad experiences with men, but I refuse to believe that none of them have a single positive male role model in her life. So I don't think I can put her in both solely because of Gepard, so I'm going to put her in Pride. Now, Sela can actually pick up correctly this time. Thank you. Now, Sela is a very headstrong and aggressive and powerful person. I despise the term toxic masculinity because it's some sexist bullshit used to dunk on men. But if it did exist, Sela has it. We should just call it aggression and stop being sexist pieces of shit about it, but that's not going to happen. Sela is a very headstrong and aggressive person, so she is not the type to give a fuck about mental health. She would care about your mental health, but she would be too proud and too powerful to openly champion it. So I don't think she would be championing men's mental health. She would care about their mental health, obviously. We've seen what happened when she noticed that something was up with Luca. She investigated that shit. But she is not the type to be marching on the streets saying, we should care about our men. She is, however, going to champion Pride because She wants to eat Brunya's clam. Now, technically speaking, nothing confirms these two are lesbian. In another world, characters that are based off them are lesbian. Nothing technically confirms these two are lesbian. But of all the people Brunya could have worked for the underworld, the actual leader of the of Wildfire, or the second in command of Wildfire, she went 2 ranks down to bond with Seela and have Seela constantly around her. So yeah, lesbians, and because of lesbians, pride. Gaspard is a self-destructive man who cares more about helping others than helping himself. Pride. Now, originally, I thought Natasha would be an easy men's mental health awareness month, because Natasha is a doctor, and doctors, by definition, would focus more on sciences. They wouldn't care about emotional shit like pride. But we have actually seen quite a few doctors fighting for pride recently, which does give up the argument of would she be in the pride camp as well. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think she would. Not because she hates pride or gay people or trans people or anything like that. I think she wouldn't because of where she is. Natasha is in a rundown, barely surviving place where people are living off of scraps. Because of that, I don't think she has time to focus on things that don't matter. And don't misunderstand. I do think pride matters, obviously, to an extent. But I also think the only places that can make a big deal out of pride are places that are well off enough that they don't have other massive problems to deal with. The underground, Belobog, has a lot of problems to deal with. So I think she would be far more focused on men's mental health than she would on pride. So I'm putting her in Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know enough about Pela. I know she's a rock star. So that technically brings her to this section by default. She also has a big brother that she cares about. She also teaches a bunch of children, which wants to make me say she'd care about Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, but there is a depressing amount of teachers and mothers of boys that do not give a flying fuck about Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So, I'm going to put her in both. I do not know if that is true, but I'm going to put her in both. Alright, we know for a fact Clara would care about Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, because the person she is closest to is Mr. Sparrog, who, despite being a robot, is in fact a man. His nickname is Mr. Sparrog, or Boss Sparrog, but Mr. Sparrog to her. Would she care about pride? I mean, I don't think she'd understand pride. Once we'd explain to her, would she care about pride? Most definitely. Clara is the epitome of innocence and kindness. There is no way in hell she would turn her back on someone because they want something different. Also, as a computer expert, and someone who has literally had to put CPUs into different frames before, I don't think the concept of transsexuality would bother her all that much. It would be no different from changing the shell of a robot, so she'd probably be one of the most understanding to trans people here. Clara is both. Gaski Sampo is a maxed fool and thus very hard to read. Gaski Sampo genuinely comes off as a really fucking swell guy. He's a bit of an annoying fuck-up, but that's because he's a masked fool. Ultimately, you can rely on this fucker, so I do think he cares about people. But at the same time, as a masked fool, masked fools tend to like to, fuck with people, which is why I question if a masked fool can fall under men's mental health. But honestly, of all the masked fools, Sampo does seem to be the one that cares the most about others, so... I think I'd put Sampo under both. Yeah, I'm gonna go with both for Gusky Sampo. Next up, we have Hook. And Hook is as baby girl gets. So she'd probably be very confused by this at first. If you're patient, though... I mean, Julian's her best friend, so she would care about men's mental health because she'd want Julian to be in good health. And she would probably also care about Pride. I mean, hell, Julian's arguably trans because he can become a woman. Honestly, I'm not convinced Julian isn't straight up just transforming when he does his little disguise shit. Because my man becomes twice as tall. He became a grown-ass man at one point. I don't remember if he's become a woman, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Hook is either... What are you talking about, confused, or both? I'll put her under what are you talking about, confused. Lynx is a hitchhiker who has a brother she loves and a sister that she loves. Her sister's a rock star and thus cares about the LGBT, and her brother is self-destructive and thus needs men's mental health. Lynx is also a both. Luca, self-destructive man and champion of the people, Pride. Topaz, Pride sells. Also, I think the only Stoneheart that is male is, Aventurine. And I don't know if she's especially close to Aventurine. Also, I don't think Men's Mental Health Awareness Month sells, so, Pride. Jingque? Jingque, is that what your name was? You are a lazy but intelligent woman who does not care about her work. Have we picked up enough of your personality to put you either way? No, I don't think we have. And I think she's apathetic enough that she wouldn't give a fuck. So I think I'll put her under... What? Confused. Less because she's confused and more because she doesn't give a fuck. But she's not going to be angry about it. Which is why I put her under confused instead of annoyed. Ting Yun is technically Fantalia. And Fantalia wants everyone dead. Doesn't care. We'll get under her proper answer once we reach Tafug. Luocha. I'm gonna be honest, I do not know enough about Luocha. I genuinely don't know jack shit about Luocha's character. I don't know. Because I don't fucking know. I don't know enough about Luocha as a character. I genuinely don't. I know he has a coffin on his back. I know he's hiding shit. I know he's powerful. I know he might passingly care about Don Hung and... Yeah, not Yan Fei. Yan Li? No. Phoenix Girl. I know he might passingly care about them, but... Nah, I don't know about Luocha. Zheng Yuan, the general of the Jianzhou Lao Fu. A very intelligent man who spends most of his time commanding from the back, but will go forth to protect his people, and is a very good general. I'm just gonna put him under both because he cares about his people, which would include the people of different sexualities and the men. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't know deeply enough about him to know if he would care more about one than the other. Blade does not give a flying fuck, he just wants to die. I know some people are going to say, but Blade cares about the Stellaron hunters. You're mischaracterizing. Shh, 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 shh. Shut up. We'll get to the character. We'll get to character improvements later. For now, shut the fuck up. Yan Ching? No, Yan. I don't remember your name, but you're the basic girl's girl. You are basically just the average woman, the average teenage girl on social media. And I guarantee you the average teenage girl on social media does not know what the fuck Men's Mental Health Awareness Month is, but she does know what Pride is. So Pride. This woman is a traditionalist through and through. So I don't think she would care about Pride, but she would care about men's mental health awareness because if your soldier isn't mentally sound, how are they going to soldier? I do not think she would outright hate the Alphabet Mafia. I just think because she's a traditional, I think because she's a more traditional person, and because she's a general, she would lean more towards the men thing. She does not care. Yan Qing, the apprentice to the general of the Lao Fu, a sword master, and honestly, nothing about him implies he doesn't care about others. In fact, he seems to care about others a lot. We know for a fact he cared about Luca's mental health because he tried to help Luca get through his shit during the war dance. Is there anything about him that hints that he might care about Pride, though? There's nothing that inherently implies that he cares about Pride, but there's also nothing that implies that he wouldn't. It's his job to protect the people, so one could argue that means he would protect the Alphabet Mafia as well, but you can protect someone without believing in their views. Do we believe more in his traditionalist values, or do we believe more in his care about everybody? It might be a bias because the men's mental health awareness section is so much lower, but I'm going to put him in here for now because honestly, I feel like it could go either way. Gwenifin is your basic girl on social media, so Gwenifin is Pride all the way. I also don't think there are men she cares about in her life other than like one singular old man NPC that she spoke to once. So, yeah, Gwenifin falls under Pride. Bailu is a doctor, so once again, mental health would be important to her. There's also nothing to imply that she would care about the Alphabet Mafia, so I'm going to put her under men's mental health awareness as well. I do not know much about Jing Liu. She very much feels like a very non-caring person, but because I do not know enough about her past, I will put her under the I don't know tier for the sake of being fair. But based off what I do know, I think she would fall under here, but we'll keep her on I don't know just for the sake of being fair. Don Hong Inhibitor Lunale. This is when Don Hong accepts his sins as Don Feng and decides that he wants to do what he can to make up for his sins against the Lao Fu. I don't remember if he takes strides forward in his emotional intelligence at this point. I don't think he does, so I'm still going to put him in this tier. The confused as to why this matters. Are you the robot? I think you're the robot. And if you're a robot, you don't give a fuck. I genuinely know nothing about you. Huohua is too terrified about fighting demons to know or care what the fuck you're on about. Okay, I'm sorry. I came to this game late. Why the fuck is Mose so much farther along than the two other people that work with him? Why was his character released so far after theirs? What? Should he not have come out with them? He's literally part of their trio. Slime menacing fox that poisons people. I don't think he especially cares about men's mental health. Actually, wait, you're a doctor, so you should care about men's mental health. You're creepy and terrifying, but that doesn't technically mean you don't care about men's mental health, so... Alright, we're going to say that you're fine with mental health. Is there anything to imply that you would care about the Alphabet Mafia, though? Again, you're from a traditionalist place in the form of China. Yeah, no, I think you would be more men's mental health awareness. She literally recruited an assassin to give him somewhere to eat and be safe. She cares about men's mental health. Does she care about the Alphabet Mafia, though? I don't think she dislikes them. I also don't think she gives a fuck, though. I think she'd be more indifferent to this, so... I'm gonna put her under Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, too. Also from traditionalist China. Literally willing to steal someone's sword that's precious to him. But also can arguably talk to Sword, so maybe the Sword told her it was in distress. She definitely didn't care about Yunjin's mental health. I don't think she gives a fuck. I genuinely don't think she cares. Confused, what the fuck are you talking about? Doctor. Nothing implies that she would care especially a lot about pride. So doctors that we don't know for sure if they care especially a lot about pride fall under Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Mose, an assassin that wants revenge on her for killing his group. He now protects her under the condition that he can also try to kill her whenever he wants. Dude is the poster child for why men's mental health is needed. Doesn't necessarily mean he believes in it, though. Nothing implies that he'd believe in pride either. March cares about everybody. Foog. Foog is the actual version of Ting Yun. The fake Ting Yun was a very people-pleaser person, but Foog, it doesn't act as out there as she does. Foog is more refined and ladylike. She does still seem caring, but I don't have much of a grasp on her personality. I'm confident that she does care about men's mental health, because her original position was that of a guide for guests. that would be why Ting Yun slash Ventelia was in the position they were in. So it's part of her job to care. I think I'll put her in both. I think since it's her job to care, she would care about both, whether they match her personal beliefs or not. Gallagher, the bartender at Disney World. Sorry, I mean Penacony. Excuse me. I love that we got the Brother Honey's theme right as we got to Penacony. Anyway, Gallagher's entire job is to be a bartender, which means listening to the problems of everybody and helping them take their sorrows away as they have a nice cold beverage. Usually soda, because this game is made for babies. So he would care about the mental health of others. And when I say others, I do mean others, not just men. He would care about everybody's mental health, so I'm going to put him under both. All Argenti cares about is the beauty, and all of its forms. So probably Pride. Slay Queen. Runmai cares not for your bullshits. Self-destructive gambler who is convinced that he can never lose and is thus going to use it to enjoy his life, get shit better, and avenge his family. Based off of my prior things about self-destructive men not getting Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I technically can't put him under Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Would he care about the Alphabet Mafia, though? I don't know, but I'm going to put him here anyway, because even if he doesn't care, Pride is still profitable, and he is part of the IPC, and the IPC are never to be trusted. Dr. Veritas Ratio does not care about your stupid months. Shut up and read a book. Ah, Sparkle. When I first thought of this video idea, I started trying to think to myself, which side is LOL random humor more left-leaning or right-leaning? Why does it matter what side is more LOL random humor? Because Sparkle's entire personality is she does what's fun. I'm not even sure if she cares about anyone or anything. But her entire thing is what is fun in the moment. I could say Men's Mental Health Awareness, because I think LOL random humor is more right-leaning, due to the fact that it can be extremely offensive to everybody, and the right tends to be the ones more willing to, like, make fun of people. But I also don't think she gives a fuck about people's mental health. You know what? One sec. There we go. Lol, that's Sparkle's answer. Ha! Black Swan is all about the beauty of memories, and memories of oppression and memories of depression I don't think are memories that she would cherish, so I'm going to put her under both. I do not know if this is true. Maybe memo keepers like horrible memories that make you want to cry into a pillow. Until I know that memo keepers like memories that make you want to cry into a pillow, I'm putting her under both. Acheron does not know what you're talking about and does not give a single fuck. Robin is a pop star, and as such, should lean towards what is more socially acceptable. But she's also a genuinely caring person that cares about everybody, so fuck that both. Especially because Sunday exists. And her bond with Sunday is so all-encompassing, but it would take an act of God to take her off of men's mental health awareness. And I don't even think God can pull that off. Firefly. Alright, this is going to be my least popular one ever. I'm pretty sure I'm going to piss people off my belief for Firefly. Because to most people, Firefly is the sweet, kind girl that can do no wrong and is our main love interest, and thus cares about everybody equally. But, is she? I'm about to bring up something that I don't think anybody here wants to admit. Just because someone is nice to you doesn't mean they're a good person. We do not know if Firefly is a good person. She was a weapon built to fight an undying army, and then later goes on to join the biggest criminal organization in the cosmos, other than the IPC, because the IPC is too powerful to be seen as criminals. But no, genuinely speaking, we think Firefly is nice because Firefly loves us. But we do not know if Firefly gives a fuck about anybody else. Firefly was fine attacking Penacony to make her way in. Firefly was fine destroying planets. Firefly is the type of person to pull out a sword and ask questions later, as shown as how quick she was willing to fight when she was in Penacony. We cannot confirm that Firefly is a good person. So can we confirm that she cares about mental health or the LGBT? Honestly, I don't think so. One could argue that she cares about mental health because she's close to, Blade. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if Blade and Firefly are that close. From what I've gathered, Firefly only seems to be close to Silverwolf and us. Because Silverwolf is the one that looks over Firefly in her sickbed. And we are the people that Firefly cares so much about that getting to see us one more time is damn near all she cared about in Penacony. That and denying fate as much as she can by choosing how she died. So, I actually think where Firefly falls depends entirely on what Trailblazer you're playing as. Now, there's no actual confirmation that Firefly actively loves us. It could just be that we're an old friend / family member that she misses. But with how much the fan base ships Firefly and the Trailblazer, I genuinely don't know where the canon ends and the fanon begins. So I can't stop seeing Fireflies that love the Trailblazer. And because of this, since I have no reason to believe that she cares for no other reason, I have to believe that it depends on what Trailblazer you get. If you are Kalis, she will fall under men's mental health, because she cares about the mental health of her lover. If you are Stell, she will fall under pride, because she cares about her lesbian lover. Since she can be either or, I'm putting her under the Trailblazer tier, which means her decision is entirely based on what Trailblazer you are. Oh, there you go, Kafka. This is also where you belong. Enjoy your new tier. Because Kafka does not care about anybody but the other Stellaron hunters. And she seems to care extra for us. And we are one of the people that would really change her view. Because again, if we're Stell, we are now romantically linked to Firefly. Which means she now has to stand the LGBTQ because of Firefly's existence with us. And if we're Kalis, she will care about us again. So, yeah, you two are both under the Trailblazer tier. Misha, meek femboy that follows the path of the Trailblaze. And as someone who follows the path of the Trailblaze, he must connect to and understand all peoples. So everybody needs to be happy. Sunday. Sunday originally would have fallen under men's mental health because the order comes off to me as more of a right-leaning government that wants to keep everybody united permanently. So that would be mental health matters, things like pride divide us and make us too different, and that's not a part of the order. But with his improvements as a trailblazer, I think I can lean him towards both, especially if you're playing Estelle, because then he'll have a lesbian in his life to directly care about. I'm gonna go with both. You can arguably put him in men's mental health. I'm gonna put him in both. Jade just wants to make money. One could argue she's both because pretending to care makes her more cash. I refuse to even give her that much. She doesn't give a fuck. Okay, so on one hand, the Galaxy Rangers are all about justice, and people would argue that pride is justice. On the other hand, I don't think he understands or gives a fuck about any of this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put him under confused, because why would I care? Well, for one thing, she's a manga nerd, so I know for sure she's okay with pride, because yaoi and yuri are both things that are heavily found in manga. Would she care about men's mental health? I think so, because in Rappa's own weird way, she does care about people and tries to push people towards what she thinks is the right play, which might come off as not caring about people, but it's more so she's so stuck in her own head that she thinks she knows how to help everybody. So I think she falls under both. Herta does not give a flying fuck. Alright, Aglaya's actually one of the ones that I was pondering on my own when I was thinking this through. Aglaya admits herself that as a god, she has spent too much time in the position of a god that she's starting to lose her emotions and care less and less about people. So saying she cares about men's mental health is a tough one for me, because I don't think she cares about anyone's mental health. However, I do think she's a part of the Alphabet Mafia. I want us all to remember that the people of Amphorius have extended lifespans. They are long life species. So Aglaya has been alive for at least hundreds of years. I think she dies at like 1,100, I don't remember. But she's a long life species. What does this have to do with anything? Aglaya never has kids. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, maybe she just does not want kids. Why the fuck not? Her job is a governing position. It isn't a job that gets hindered by having children. I feel like if Aglaya was straight, she would have had a child at some point. But she doesn't, which means she's lesbian. And as a lesbian, she has a self-fulfilling reason to care about the LGBTQ. So, pride. Tribios is the most caring, understanding woman in existence, and while some might think she falls under pride because people see caring as a pride-exclusive trait, she would definitely care about men as well, so I'm going to put her under both. Why is my nose getting stuffy? I'm not even doing a voice. Mighty does not give a fuck about your nonsense. Okay, actually, no. This might be character assassination. Mighty does care about the people around him. He ends Kremnos' entire purpose because he's noticing the damage it does to his people, which falls under men's mental health. Would he care about pride? I think Mighty would care about pride if any of the people he was close to was a part of it. So going off my headcanon that Aglaya is a lesbian, yes, he would care about pride. Mighty Most goes under both. He does not care about your bullshit. Cyphera is extremely close to Aglaya, and thus would care about what she cares about. Now, would she also care about men's mental health? The first thing she does when she meets us is fuck with us and steal our shit. She does not care about men's mental health. She cares about the mental health of all the people of Akama, but half of the people of Akama are women. So that doesn't necessarily mean she cares about men's mental health either. It just means she didn't want the land to burn. Putting her under pride. Especially since her whole thing is fucking with people's minds. Castorus. Castorus just cares about people full stop, so... Are you seriously telling me this video took over an hour? Dear God. Have I really been talking that much? Apparently I have. I had to restart my video that was almost an hour long. But yeah, I think Castorus cares about everybody, so I do think Castorus should fall under both. This is probably just me being biased because I like Castorus, and as such, I see her as a caring person. But, yeah. Phanon also cares about everybody. Well, everyone that doesn't oppose him. So... both. Hyacinth literally stayed behind at the end of the world when she was Phanon's only living ally because she cared about the people too much to leave them alone. Both. There isn't a high enough tier for Hyacinth. Hysolins only cares about the Imperator. None of this matters. The Imperator does not give a fuck about your sexuality or your mental health. She just wants to rule. Well, she cared about Hysolin's mental health, but that was because Hysolin was her most loyal subject. One could argue that she would fall under men's mental health awareness because of her more loyal male subjects, but even that's not her caring about men's mental health awareness as a whole. That's her caring about her own, and caring about your own is different from caring about all men's mental health. She only cares about March. Actually, after Cyrene and March talked to Evernight, Evernight was brought over, at least part way, to March's way of thinking. I do not think that means she would perfectly match March. I don't think she'll magically care about everybody's lives, but she at least becomes less cynical and less by any means. So actually, I think I'm going to move her to the Trailblazer tier, where her opinion is based on what Trailblazer you have. If you have Stell, well, March cares about Stell, and Stell is a lesbian, so pride. If you are playing as Kalis Kalis is a man. March cares about Kalis and Don Hung. So men's mental health. Don Hung has finally reached it. He has reached peak emotional maturity. He cares about his friends. He cares about others. He wants everyone to reach peak happiness. This technically would put him under the Trailblazer tier, but I'm going to be nice and I'm going to put him up top, assuming that he is fully imbued with the Trailblazer's creed now, and thus cares about all of the peoples. But really, I think he cares more about the people in his immediate group, which is why he would lean more towards men's mental health, maybe the LGBT if Stell is part of this group, but we'll stick with this. We will stick with this for now. The Gremlin Gremlin Panda? What? The Gremlin Raccoon. Do they care about any of this shit? I don't think Kalis does. Not actually. No. Wait. Oh wait. We have different versions here. One sec. That's Bat. That's Spear. That's Hat. That's Quill. We are going to put Quill under both because by this point, the Trailblazers have fully imbued themselves with the decree of the Trailblaze. Game start, Trailblazers do not give a fuck because they're too busy being antisocial. Spear-wielding Trailblazers now care about the people around them, but they're still fairly antisocial, so I think they still would not care much for Pride. Now we meet Firefly, and romance becomes part of the equation. Kalis is not a lesbian, but he does care about others, but I don't think he's gone far enough to start caring about waving the flags of anyone's mental health, so Kalis still falls under confused. Stell is now romantically involved with Firefly, or at least sees her as a possible love interest, which means Stell is now in the Pride tier, because it fits her modus operandi. And then they learn about the power of friendship and start to care about everybody. Nadalia is a very hard person to read. Her existence is lies and deceit. She definitely gives off lesbian energy, but she also betrays everyone she meets, which probably includes Pride and mental health awareness. She'll probably be like, yes, Pride, I love Pride. Tee-hee-hee, I actually went in and infiltrated them and found every pedophile and creep that's in the group. And now you guys have it. I now care about men's mental health. Ha ha ha. No, I found this other horrible thing that your side has done. Everyone burns. Everyone burns. So, yeah, we're gonna put her on the lull. Sorry, Rini loves you all. Shut up and accept it. Now, you would think I would put Sparksy under lull. But, as a content creator, it is very helpful for Sparksy to go with the Alphabet Mafia. So Sparksy goes under Pride Month. If only because it helps her out in her logistics online. Yao Guang, the schemer from the Xianzhao Lao Fu who can see everybody's future. It's genuinely hard to read her. All we know is that she wants to act against the gods. And, I don't think the gods care about your sexuality. I'm gonna put her under lull. Because I don't know where she goes. I don't think she'd be confused. I don't think she'd be annoyed. I could put her under this, but yo, she is an elation unit. I'm putting her under LOL. Blade has reached peak emotional maturity. He now cares about all of those around him. That includes the lesbians and the boys. As such, he falls under Trailblazer? Because the only lesbian he knows would be Firefly, and the only male he would know would be the Trailblazer. So, once again, if the Trailblazer is careless, men's mental health. If the Trailblazer is Stell, pride. He just cares about his own. Nihilux wants money. And once again, pride is profitable. Also, even if you want to argue that men's mental health is also profitable, she abuses the Furbos. She has lost any right she has to be in the men's mental health awareness section. Who is this? Oh, that's Pearl. Actually, I was gonna say she is a what because she doesn't understand human emotions, but she's actively trying to learn to understand humans, so, pride is profitable. I have no reason to believe that Pearl would care much about men's mental health. Rin Tosaka does not give a flying fuck about men's mental health. The only man she cares about is Shiro Emiya, and that is only if he sides with her implicitly and sticks his dick down her throat. Pride. Because I think no matter what route she's in, she wants Saber. Well, actually, no. She wants Saber for Saber's power, not because she's attracted to Saber. So, doesn't care, probably more annoyed. Annoyed by you asking. Actually, I'm gonna put you in the Trailblazer tier. Because it depends on your routes. Because you know damn well she's defending Pride if she turns out lesbian. And we know, and like I said, she cares about Emiya's mental health specifically. So, yeah, I guess hers depends on the route. Finally, Gilgamesh. No fucks given. So there we go. Here is the final results of the Pride Month versus Men's Mental Health Awareness Month tier list. Most people like both because most of the characters in this game are genuinely kind people that care about everybody. The next highest amount is those who would go with Pride, which makes sense because Pride is more talked about, Pride is more acceptable to most people. Pride is a hot button topic that has been painted as the kind and loving thing to do. Even though Pride can be very, very angry towards people who are straight and male. They claim they aren't, but they very much are. I have unironically had people say, who the fuck cares about straight people? We do not need them. If that's not a statement of hatred, I don't know what is. It should also be noted that most people do not know I'm bi. So they said that to a straight person's face. But yeah, point is, Pride gets the second highest amount of people. The next highest amount of people are the what categories? Because there are a lot of people who are either antisocial, stupid, or just wouldn't care. Technically, there's more people in this tier, because a lot of this tier is just the Trailblazer trying to get their shit together. And then we got Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, which is mainly the logical, or people who have men that are important to them. That's Bailu, basically. Then we have those who only care about their own self-interest. Less because they're bad people and more because, well, you care most about what affects you on your own. It's just human nature. Except for Rinto Saka. Rinto Saka is a bad person. You can't convince me otherwise. And then we have the I don't know in the lol. What do you guys think? Have I greatly misunderstood someone's characterization? Do you think somebody else should be somewhere else? Do you think I'm a sexist, homophobic piece of shit? Tell me in the descriptions down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you all. If you enjoyed and feel I deserve it, you can donate to me at buymeacoffee.com/KingD353, Throne.com/KingD353, or whatever the hell my Patreon link is. I have no clue what it is. I just remembered recently, but I have one. Every donation is appreciated, and for as little as $1 a month, you can help support channels. I'm sure I get to eat food. If you want to spend some time with me, you can join me on personal Discord. Once you're there, we will chat, play video games, share memes, and have ourselves a grand old time. All links will be in the description down below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see all you beautiful people later. Deuces, Kingdom.